do what I do.
Okay, so welcome back to the Dennis Spurling podcast. So you guys have had an opportunity to look at the video footage related to 1919, also known as Red Summer. And what you see is the very same sort of rage. You had black men who came back from World War I. They had fought overseas. They were valiant fighters. They had lived in an environment for 4 years, more or less, and this would have been Europe, France specifically, where racial attitudes are a lot different. I'm sure many of them, for the first time, had been treated like human beings and treated as though they were men, not simply as black men. And so because of that, they came home with a new spirit and a new way of seeing the world. For many of these men, this is their first time ever being away from the United States, much less overseas in Europe, interacting with people of all ethnicities, white, Hispanic, Latin, I would assume, Italian, Spanish, etc. And so because of that, they came back to the United States expecting that, hey, we can make changes. This is not something that is not not impossible to achieve, and that is equality here in the United States. Nevertheless, upon returning, they were met with hostility because, remember, you're still dealing with the same old racist undertones, the same old racial attitudes, even though many of the men who returned had saw how valiant black men had fought, and many of them had fought, and saw the great work, and they saw that black men were being praised. So what did they do? They said, well, we got to basically put these black men back in their place. Now, here's the crazy part about it. This was just the first of a long line of incidents where black people make progress because of hard work. Somebody type hard work in the chat room. We make progress because of hard work, and then that hard work is undermined because of these racial attitudes that persist. And so now here we are. It is 1955, and black people are marching. And what black people did was, knowing the brutality that they'd suffered, now that television was possible and these images could be broadcast around the world, our black intelligentsia decided, well, what we're going to do is we are going to show the world what America means when it says freedom. And as black people began to march for freedom in their Sunday best on Sundays, the rest of the world, these images of them being brutalized by these civil servants, oftentimes police officers, firemen. The rest of the world said, well, how can America preach freedom when it treats the American Negro so poorly? People who are just in search of freedom, the freedom that America promises. And so, nevertheless, we fought. We fought well all the way up through 1965, where we got the Civil Rights Bill, the Immigration Bill. We did away with a lot of the systematic racism. And when I say systematic racism, I mean housing, education, employment. These are the things that keep people out systematically. Now, you're not going to stop somebody from feeling the way they feel and having racial prejudices. That's their strongly held beliefs. Nothing really you can do about that. But as far as the systematic racism, we had fought through that. And because of that, even with the immigration bill, this is what allowed for immigrants to be able to come to the United States in the first place. Because in 1965, there was very few Hispanics in this country. Matter of fact, they had Operation Wetback, which sent millions of Mexicans back to Mexico. Even American citizens, people born and raised in the United States, American citizens of Mexican descent sent back to Mexico, just straight up deported, dropped over the border. The Asian representation in the United States was negligible. And of course, there was little to no African or Caribbean immigrants in this country, at least not how it is now. So by the 1980s, we had plenty of immigrants here. And those people were literally brought over as a buffer class. So here's the thing, and I'm going to backtrack for a second. If you guys are enjoying this, make sure you hit the #1 button. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And if you learn something, I should earn something. Now, I want to backtrack a little bit. The federal government, FBI, J. Edgar Hoover, law enforcement realized that, the work that black people had done to attain civil rights, it just tore at the fabric of the United States. It nearly tore the country up. And so they quickly realized that in order to stop the rise of what they considered a black messiah, they would have to undermine the source of power of the black people in the United States, and that is the black family. And since 1965, they've been doing things to target the black family, whether it's brainwashing black women to believe that they want to be feminists and that they're being oppressed by black men, inserting welfare, giving you a few dollars to let that be your husband instead of the man who is helping you with your children and sired your children. So instead of depending on your man, now you're depending on the federal government for a few pennies and telling women that you're strong, independent, and don't need a man. Okay? In addition to that, forcing us to deal with circumstances that we otherwise wouldn't have to deal with as black people, along with the welfare system. Now we got to deal with this war on drugs. And the thing you have to understand about crack cocaine is cocaine was always in use. And on top of that, we've always had drug addicts in the black community. But people would use heroin and they would go about their business, okay? They could still function. But when crack showed up, first of all, it was a white man sort of high. But in the late 1970s, they decided to infuse it with different chemicals and make a cheap form of cocaine that was very high, would get people very high. And this caused for women who were upstanding people in the community just to fall apart. And next thing you know, she was a church lady, and now she's selling her body so that she can get money to support her habit. So along with welfare, feminism, the war on drugs, you have the deterioration of the black family, and then another insidious occurrence, and that is the black drug dealer. Again, we've always had black drug dealers, but the fact that we had men and women who were willing to sell crack cocaine to our own people for a profit and poison us and destroy us, it was no different than when our own African brothers and sisters help capture us and sell us to European slavers. This is the sort of level of divisiveness. And that, in my opinion, is where black America sold its soul. And we've never been the same since. It was at that point that sex and relationships became transactional. What can you do for me? It was no longer about black love. It was about that green dollar. What can you do for me? And these are the things, this is the concerted effort that was put against black people. So we've survived the violence. We survived the taking of our things. We rebuilt, we work harder. But when they undermine the incentive for black people to work hard, i.e. they destroy the family. So what am I working for? And now you have black men largely are unmarried and don't have children. You have we went from the highest marital rate to the lowest. And so, again, all of this happened because they realized they couldn't beat us like they used to. They couldn't turn the water hose on us because the world was watching. But here we are in 2025, and you see a lot of immigrants having to suffer the same thing that we suffer. They're literally brutalizing them, and they're not as bad as what we had to deal with, but they are being arrested. They are being separated. And black people generally don't necessarily support that. It definitely harkens back to a time period that we had to suffer. So we don't take pleasure in that. Not black people. I can speak for most of us. Not all of it, because some of us, never mind. They got some of that slave catcher DNA. But for the most part, we're very empathetic and loving people. And we don't take pleasure in seeing African immigrants and Caribbean immigrants being rounded up and deported. We don't take pleasure in seeing Hispanic immigrants and and Asian immigrants and Arab people being rounded up and deported, even despite the fact that they practice anti-black racism. And it's part of their culture. We, as black people, do not take pleasure in that. Okay, we voted for Kamala Harris, not me, okay, because I wanted to keep my taxes low, so I voted for the Republican candidate, Mr. Trump. But most black people voted for Kamala Harris knowing that she would not necessarily be good for us, but it would forestall what we see, this rising white backlash against the success of so many minorities. That's what we see happening right now, okay? And it's something that we saw happen in 1919. We saw it happen in the Red Summer. We saw it happen in Reconstruction, post-Reconstruction. And so the whole notion, and I say all this to say, everybody, work harder does not apply in the United States, because you can work as hard as you want, and at some point white folks will change the rules when you begin to make a lot of progress. And it's just history. It's not me making it up. They change the rules, they take your things, some they take by force. And it's a horrible situation. But this is America. What's up, what's up, what's up? Welcome, welcome, welcome to the broadcast. This is Uncle D.
People wash their ass in the tub, Kamala Harris.
You were tuned in to Uncle D. This black man talk, pull up, homie, take a seat. Don't be a shadow watcher every day. You learn something, then you earn something. And let them know and drop some money in the plate. It's getting cold, ladies, talking ratchet. There's a king here, grab your coat, zip your jacket. Keep quiet for a second, close your jaw. Attorney Spurling, this ain't pearly, know the law. Talking Constitution, pushing pins when he shooting, give him that. Masculinity, just for the record, sprinkle that. You can keep your cat, gotta cut it. Only cat he rubbing, gotta love it. I call it Molly Buddy. Gotta vote your interest, voting earns. Presidential, this is for the money that I earn. When you gon' learn, my people, that evil mixed with evil. No matter what you're doing, baby, this ain't equal. Sometimes when you're special, you get hated. The test is for the best, you're damn right, my people made it. Uncle D, Blizzard King, you been served, gotta notice. Now black men out here know we winning, gotta hold it now. Uncle D, you been served, get your notice. Now black men out here know we winning, gotta hold it now. Uncle D, you been served, get your notice. Now black men out here know we winning, gotta hold it now. Uncle D, you been served, get your notice. Now black men out here know we winning, gotta hold it now.
Hey man, I'll do what I do.
Somebody needs to whip your ass. Get up and whip him, sweets.
Hey, don't be putting the money in my hand all rough.
Take your ass out here. You buy you a Flowbee and cut your own damn hair from now on.